The nightlife with Gary. As you can see, Gary is not doing much. Just really chilling right now. He's been chilling. How are you doing, Gary? Doing good. You're not doing much. Tell Gary I said he's cute from... Oh, darling? Hello, everyone. He did come to Minecraft, yes. I just want to say that Gary is adorable. Thank you. I'm just gonna go next to Gary. So Gary is really not doing much right now. He's just chilling. Have you fed Gary before? How does an axolotl feel like? So they're really soft and a bit slimy. How do you take care of axolotls? There is a lot of requirements to care for an axolotl, so I would advise you to go on our website and look at the axolotl care. There is a lot of posts on there. So how long can he be out of water? I never put Gary out of water because he wouldn't be able to survive, so it's not something you should do. When did you get Gary? In a pet shop? Because here in the UK, axolotls are legal. I know that in some states in the US they are not, but here we don't have like anything for like it's legal here, so they're just sold in pet shops. Is Minecraft right? Axolotls out in the out out of the water for 5 minutes they die. So I don't know if 5 minutes, but I know that it is gonna stress your axolotl a lot because they are not really meant to be out of water with his little legs. He can only like he can't really walk that much on land, and he can't be able to breathe, so poor Gary is not gonna survive. So what food do you give Gary? At the moment we give Gary pellets because he doesn't like his worms anymore. Sometimes Gary just go out of his worms, he just don't like them, and then we try again maybe 1 month later and he's taking them again. But at the moment it's only pellets. Do you watch animes? Yes, I do. And sometimes Gary would watch with me some anime. Oh, my axolotl just ate all of his bloodworms. But bloodworms are only snacks for axolotls when they are like adults because they don't have a lot of nutrients. So you can give bloodworms for your babies or juveniles axolotls, but when they grow older and they're adult like Gary, they only become snacks. Do you like Minecraft axolotls? Yes, I think they are really cute. How long can he go without food? So axolotls can go without food for weeks, but we don't do that because we don't want Gary to starve. But they can eventually be um, out of food for weeks. Oh, tell Gary that I said he's very handsome. From Olivia Delatte. Gary is good. Is he active? At the moment, he's not, but maybe he's gonna wake up later. But like for now, he's not. He is really not. He's staying still. Oh, Mr. Gill says hi. Thank you, Mr. Gill. I just got an axolotl and she is in the car right now. 50 minutes left in the drive. Oh, that's cute. Where is Gary's dad? Gary's dad is behind me. He's playing. What are you playing? Cyberpunk. Oh, I'm from Poland and I love Gary. Did you have any other pets before Gary? So I had a lot of pets, like during all of the years before. Like I had hamster, I had turtles, I had fish, I had rabbits. I think that's all. But it was way when I was young, so it was a long time ago. Can you do a face reveal at 100k? Maybe for if we reach 100k sub, I will consider maybe doing a face reveal. Or Gary's dad face. I don't know. I'm getting an axolotl soon. Gary was one who made me want one. Oh. Is it hard to take care of an axolotl? Yes, it is. There is a lot of requirements for an axolotl and they need specific conditions and it costs a lot to have everything set up for an axolotl if you want the things to be perfect. Does Gary like tofu? Gary can't eat tofu because Gary is a carnivore, so he can't have tofu. I'm getting an axolotl, so is it hard to care of one? Yes, it is. I'm not gonna lie because when we got Gary, we didn't knew how it would be. We did a lot of research before having Gary, but even if we did a lot of research beforehand, when we had Gary, it was still really hard to manage everything and know everything. So what I would advise you is do your own research, and you can also go in our website, which is in the about section, and you have an axolotl care and tips guide on there, so you can read that. I will put more posts later, but for beginners I think it's a good place to go. And you can also join our Discord server where there is a lot of other axolotls owner, so if you ever have like some troubles with your axolotl, there is an emergency channel where you can like have advice from me or any other axolotl owners. Yes, Gary is a carnivore. Was Gary scared when you first got him? Yes, he was. I think it took him a bit of time to adjust to his new home, but he was always a curious axolotl, so I think it was hard for the first 2 weeks, and then it went better. Can you tell Gary I say hi? You are very cute and I have been subscribed for 2 years, please. Oh, thank you, Yurichu. Does Gary like soba? If you refer soba as the worms, then maybe yes. Worms are like spaghetti, so. So tanks are like $150 and the filter is like $40. I don't know in euro. It's the pet itself is like $20. Yes, but don't forget to add a water chiller, and the water chiller is the more expensive expense you will have in the whole setup of your axolotl, and it's also the most important. Oh, how are you today, Gary'sman? Thank you, Paige. I'm doing good. How about you? How doesn't Gary have 100 million subs already? It would be a bit much. Oh, I was from previous live stream and I'm here again. Welcome back. Oh, do you like dumplings? I do. It's been a long time since I last had dumplings. I'm gonna order some now. Do you like rats? Yeah, I do. I do. I think they're cute. It's like having a hamster with a longer tail. My axolotl is a melanoid. I feel like he was. I love him with the axolotl picture on his food. Oh, my axolotl is also a girl called Lottie. It's cute. Give worms. Oh. Bill near the Russian spy says that Gary is really cute. You're really cute, Gary. You are. You had dumplings yesterday. I want some gyoza though. Oh, Moxie is watching from the other side of the room. She loves her famous brother. Is Gary doing well? Yes, he is. He's just a bit asleep right now, so that's why he's not doing much. Axolotls have very good regenerative properties, right? Yes, they have. They can regrow limbs. Gary is plotting the end of humanity. I don't think Gary is plotting that. Does Gary like... Where, Gary, where are you going? What, where? Where are you going? Okay. 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 Okay, Gary. Okay. Did you bonk? Did you bonk, Gary? Oh. Okay, so now I have to hold the camera and look at the comments at the same time. Gary, can you eat chicken? So we don't give Gary any meat like chicken or beef. We only give him worms because his stomach can't process meats like chicken and beef, so he would have a hard time trying to digest them. Gary, are you hiding behind a rock? You are. More. Hello, Gary. Hello. Do axolotls do well in groups or are they solo pets? So they do well in groups. We just have to feed them really well, otherwise they're gonna eat each other's limbs, which is not good. So you just have to be careful and eat and feed them separately so you avoid accidents. What are you doing, Gary? We can only see your tail. What are you doing? Do you have any other pet or just Gary? We only have Gary. How often do you check to see Gary dancing when you only? So we do also have a camera, like to check when I'm not in the same room as Gary. I have a camera that points on him so I can check whenever I want. But I never really spotted Gary dancing, only walking and swimming. Isn't it, Gary? Just walking and swimming. Just walking and swimming, Gary. Gary's so cute. He's so cute, Gary. He's so cute. No, you're cute. I like when Gary is losing his balance. It's really cute. Where are you going? Where are you going, Gary? Where are you going? Oops, sorry. I try to find a good position to see Gary, and I can also check on the chat. So, can Gary eat sushi? So, Gary can't really eat sushi, but he could eat sashimi as it's only salmon. I am not sure about the tuna though, but salmon, yes, he can. 100%. I don't know what are people's reaction when they see Gary for the first time. I don't know. I think most people find Gary really cute. So no tuna, only salmon. Gary only salmon. Gary really likes salmon, so I think he would be happy with that. With only salmon. Can Gary play banjo or guitar? I don't think he can. Poor Gary. With his little fingers. Has Gary had Num Num today? I think he had the yesterday. It was yesterday morning the last time he had Num Num. He looks like he'd be really good at it. Maybe he would play the guitar really well. Would you, Gary? Would you play the guitar really well? Are axolotls expensive? No, they are not by themselves. Like, Gary cost us only, I think, around £14. But it's the whole setup for Gary that is really expensive. Do you have merch or will merch be soon to come? So we do have merch, like in our YouTube page. You can go in the shopping section. or you can directly go in our website where we have more range of merch. Where can I get an axolotl as perfect as Gary? I don't know. I think all axolotls are really cute, so I don't think it is specific axolotl. Mm. Oh, they eat a mix of Hikari and Novo. I've never tried Novo, only Hikari. Yeah, I think Hikari is Gary's favorite pellets. He really liked them. What is Gary's dad playing? He's playing Cyberpunk. Gary, are you acting like you're hungry again? Are you acting like I don't give you food? Why are you doing that, Gary? Everybody knows you have food a lot. Everybody can see, Gary, that you get food a lot. Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody knows, Gary, you get food a lot. Your tummy can't really lie, Gary. Is Gary Hufflepuff? I have no idea. I don't know what Gary house would be. Where are you going? Where are you going there? Does Gary like Demon Slayer? Yes, he does. Gary can't wait to watch season 2 of Demon Slayers. Yeah. He always act like he's hungry all the time. Oh, wait, Gary. So, I might get Axolotl in this year, so how hard is being with Axolotl? So it is hard to take care of an axolotl, especially if you don't know anything about aquatic pets, like cycling the tank and everything, as it take up to 8 weeks to cycle the tank. But it can take more if you don't do it well or if something happens. And axolotls need a lot of specific requirements, such as temperature, for example. So if you can't really afford a chiller, I wouldn't really advise you to get an axolotl because temperature is a really big thing for them. So if you can't get the temperature right, then it's gonna be a big problem and it's gonna stress your axolotl and yourself. So if you can have a chiller from the beginning, then I think it's the best, because you will probably have trouble keeping your temperature down. So what does Gary look like when he swims? So when Gary swims, he just put his little arms along his body. It's really cute to see. I really wish you could see that. Does Gary know how to do salsa? I don't think so. Why does Gary have a boil on his head? So I think it's a lump, but we can't do anything about it. It's only if it bothers him that we would go to a vet, but from now it doesn't really bother him, so we are just leaving it like this. There is no need to worry too much because there's nothing we can do anyway. Oh, thank you for this. Gary. Sometimes it's hard to just have the camera and read the comment at the same time. Gary, are you gonna go in your house? No. It looks like it's a bit hard for him when he turns sometimes. Is Gary a king? Yes, he's the king of cuteness. How much gallon is Gary's tank? It's 50. 50 gallon. What are you doing here? What are you doing? Not doing much. What are you looking at? Does Gary like crab? I do, but I don't think Gary will like it. How much did you pay for Gary? So Gary it was 14 pounds. Wasn't much. Oh, will you record a video for us when you clean his tank? I want to see how you do it. So yes, I actually already filmed it, but I need to edit and everything, so it's taking me some time. But yes, it's already recorded. I just have to do all the editing. Can I talk to Gary? Yes, of course. Can Gary eat eggs? No, he can't. Gary is really like cute when we do water change. He doesn't do much, really. He just stay in the corner, really like calm. He doesn't do much. I think he's used to it. He's not scared or anything. He is more curious about what's going on and what we put in the tank to remove the water. Do you know if axolotls live longer in confinement or in the wild? Definitely in confinement, like as a pet, they will live much more because in the wild they are almost extinct. So this is how short their life. Oh, Gary, are you that hungry? Are you pretending again that we don't give you food ever? Are you really doing that to us, Gary? Gary is faking to starve. Oh, Oh, thank you for showing up today, Claire Pink. We'll see you next time. I think Gary is pretending. Gary is really good at pretending to starve. He always do that. Don't you, Gary? You always do that. Oh, he will always do anything for the num num. So the leaf you see is actually a baby Java. I think it's Java plant, and it's not hanging into anything. It's just that Gary uprooted it, so it's just floating right now. Because Gary loved do to rescape his aquarium. Like every plants that you see, they are not in place. Like this one. It's this one here should be in the background behind the log, but it's not. And this plant should be same, like behind the little log, behind the filter, but it's not. It's just Gary uprooted everything. So I guess the little plant you saw is the one that I put here, and Gary just uprooted it, and now it's just hanging here. Yes, you are guilty, Gary. You are guilty for uprooting all the plants I put in your tank. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that, Gary? Does Gary sing when no one is looking? I think Gary is doing a lot of things when we are not looking. And I also think that Gary is playing video games when his dad is sleeping and borrowing his computer and PS4. I think it's what Gary does in secret. I know Gary loves food way too much. I know he does. How much does an axolotl cost? So it depends on the axolotl. I know that some are more expensive than others. Gary costs us like £14, but I think there is a range from about £10 to 20, depending the morph of the axolotl. But I know that some axolotls can cost like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It just depends on the morph. I just put fake plants in Moxie's tank and let her decorate the tank herself. Yes, it's what I should do, but I prefer live plant to fake plants because I don't want Gary to hurt himself on the leaves of fake plants. But he does redecorate his aquarium himself. He doesn't really need me. You don't you, Gary? You don't need me to redecorate your tank. But the axolotls, when they grow up, become dark in color, or are they two different types because they are white and dark axolotls? So there are plenty of different colors of axolotl. They all have like different colors when they are born, but they don't change color. So Gary, when he was young, he was pink like that, and he always stayed pink. And like all other black axolotls, they will stay black. They won't change color. It's just different morphs. You can get really soft and not pointy fake plants. The kind I get for Moxie are totally safe and won't scratch. Maybe I could try, but I wanted to actually add some more live plants to Gary's aquarium. So I don't know, maybe. Maybe. I wanted to put more different plants because Gary only have Anubias and Java Fern, which are really good and do well even though we don't really put lights in the tank. They are still growing and everything. But I want to put a bit more, like different type of plants for Gary. I know that he likes his jungle of roots there, but I don't think it's really pretty. So I want to cover with some good live plants. Oh, Nagito, no, you're not late. We are 36 minutes in the live. What is Gary's favorite breakfast food? So Gary doesn't really have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. He just have one lunch every 2 to 3 days. But it's more like dinner because it's always like at night time when he's active that we give him. During the day he wouldn't be as active and he's gonna miss a lot of pellets because he doesn't have his reflex on. Isn't it, Gary? Ah, I would get real plants for her, but my bedroom is too dark for plants. Maybe in the future when we relocate and make her new tank more natural looking. But you can still have Anubias because they really do well even though they don't have light at all. Like really. Most of the time we don't put any light in Gary's tank. It's only during the live that we put a bit of light. But you can try Anubias. They really do well without light. And Gary loves to... Oh, Gary! Gary! Why are you being like that? Why are you faking to be so hungry? Poor Gary. It's always really funny when he jumps like that. And then he's like, Sandy's no good. Bleh. Bleh. No, Sandy's no good, Gary. I'm playing Animal Crossing while watching Gary. Does Gary like Hunter x Hunter? We didn't watch this anime, so I don't know. We tried them before, but they died? How? Like, they're really doing well without light. Oh, can you say hi to my axolotl Fred? Oh, from Jonas Lutz. Hello, Fred. Yeah, maybe you got a bad batch. Because they are really sturdy. Are you still hungry, Gary? You're gonna have num num tomorrow, okay? You got num num yesterday. I can't give you every day. You're already a chunky boy. You're already a chunky boy, Gary. I can't give you too much. I don't know which kind of Anubis it is. I don't know, but they have big leaves. I don't know the difference between the two kind of Anubias. Ah, Gary is having a face massage. Does Gary want to be a policeman or a firefighter when he grows up? I would think he would be a firefighter. I'm going to get an axolotl in the summer. What would I feed them? So depending on where you live, you should feed them dendrobinar worms or night crawlers, which are worms. It's better if you get them in a fish bait so you know where they come from and they don't have pesticide or anything. Gary is squishy. He does look squishy. Is Gary ever going to get a girlfriend? He most likely gonna get a brother but not a girlfriend. What gender is Gary? Gary is a boy. Yeah, I'm going to buy Anubias Nana. The quarantine waiting is so long though. Yeah, I do the same because I want to take more plants for Gary, but I know that I have to quarantine them for like 30 days and it's really annoying. But like you have to be careful with plants because there was this one time I actually got plants. It wasn't for Gary, it was for the shrimp, and I actually got like a snail infestation. It wasn't that bad, but still, you shouldn't put in your tank something that just came out of the box, and you have to make Gary. You have to make sure to quarantine your new plants because you never know where they were before. Maybe they have disease or anything, so always quarantine anything live that goes in your tank. I had snail too when I got my first Anubias, even though I did quarantine them beforehand. Oh wow. Then the plant died. Oh no. Oh, it's your sister's birthday today. Happy birthday, Nagito sister. Gary, say happy birthday to Nagito's sister. Happy birthday. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, you cute. Yeah, you cute, Gary. I'm saying happy birthday. Yep. Yep. Mm. Do you have any other animals besides Gary? No, we don't. We only have Gary. All the attention is for Gary. Will you book Gary? No, not today. No book for Gary. I'm sorry for your axolotl, Kirby. Gary is sorry too. Will Gary be my friend? Of course. Why is Gary's water green? It's just the light that is doing that, because the light that we have in is kind of yellowish, so, and you have the plants and the background that is green, so everything looks kind of yellow greenish. Gary is the Lord and Savior. Oh, does Gary like Daft Punk? Yes, he does. And his favorite album is Discovery. What the bubbles in the water do? I'm getting an axolotl. Should I get some? So the bubbles you see for Gary is to break the surface movement, because if there is no surface movement, you're gonna have a kind of coat at the top of your aquarium, and it's really nasty. You don't want that. So having some surface movement is the will save you from having this kind of coating. Can Gary dance? Yes, Gary can dance. He does it from time to time. How many liter is that tank? It's 200 liters. For one axolotl. Can Gary use his laser eyes? He can, but he's not using them. I recently got a new axolotl morph for $350. Oh my god, that is really expensive. You better take a good care of this axolotl. Yeah, that is kind of a big tank for just one axolotl, but we wanted Gary to have space. What does Gary eat? So Gary eat pellets. Is Gary a Power Ranger? Maybe. Do you think Gary would be the Red Power Ranger? Who is watching a motorcycle in the background? It's Gary's dad. He's playing Cyberpunk. Thank you for joining us today, Roberto Potros. We'll see you next time. How big long is Gary? So Gary is, I think it's 28 centimeters. Gary! Stop faking that you're starving. Everybody can see that your tummy is so big. You can't fool anyone doing this. You cannot. Everybody can see your big tummy, Gary. Yes, they do. What temperature does Gary need? So the best temperature is between 16 and 18, and the water is at 16.7 right now. So it's just right. 28 centimeters is huge for an axolotl. You think so? Gary, you're huge. Did I raise you well? Did I give you too much food? Maybe I gave Gary too much food. I don't know. Why does he jump? He jumps because he's trying to eat something that is not there. You made a song for here. Oh, Moxie is 28 centimeters too, so it's not just Gary being big. Oh yeah, I heard 30 centimeters is the maximum they usually get in captivity, so 28 is massive, Gary. So now everybody knows you are being well fed, so stop faking. You are 28 centimeters, which is apparently big, so. Oh, can Gary say hi? Say hi, Gary. Are females smaller? So females are even larger than males, so if you think Gary is a chunk, you've never seen a good female. A good female is really chunkier than Gary. We do have big babies. Yeah, I know that axolotls are not legal everywhere, which is kind of sad. Does Gary like tempura shrimp? So Gary likes shrimp but raw. So it's the tempura just without the being fried. Is his name Gary related to the snail Gary in SpongeBob? So it's not at all, but we still have a Gary the snail in Gary's tank that you can see here. And he had this Gary the snail for like forever because we bought it at the same time as Gary, so. But we decided on the name Gary before actually having Gary. We actually went to the pet shop and reserved Gary, did our research, set up everything before actually getting Gary. We agreed with the pet shop that they would keep Gary before we could have everything set up for him. We are going to try bloodworms for our 1-year-old Axie. Any advice? So, bloodworms are only a snack for adult axolotls. You can try to fit your bloodworms in a cup because it's really messy if you just give it like that. They're gonna go everywhere. So I don't know if you get them frozen or alive. If you get them frozen like us, you just put your cube of frozen bloodworms in a cup and you put some tank water in the cup, let it defrost and then give it to your axolotl. We give bloodworms for Gary with a turkey baster. and it's the more practical way we found to give bloodworms. To I'm gonna try to make you see the whole thing, which is like that. This is the whole thing. Gary kind of looks small in this tank, but here you go. You had a full view of the tank. Thank you for the tank. How do you clean Gary's tank? So I scrap the glass walls with a card, like a credit card, but it's a card that I only use for Gary's tank to remove all the algae and everything, even though there is not much algae in there, but still. And then I just take out the water with a pump, and then we just refill the tank with buckets where we put prime, and that's it. It takes us like a quick water change, like half of Gary's tank. It takes us an hour, but if we do a deep cleaning, like cleaning the filter and everything, the pipes, it can take us for up to 4 hours. It's a lot of maintenance. So Moxie have a breeder tank. What's the difference between a breeder tank and a long tank?
Oh, you're the one asking questions now.
Yeah, it changes from time to time. Yeah, is me or I see a bump on Gary's cute head? Yes, it is, but it's always been there. Will you ever breed axes? I don't think so. I think it's a lot of work and I'm not ready to have any loss, because I know that when you breed axolotls they have a lot of eggs, but a lot of them dies and I'm not ready to have any loss. Do you test his water for ammonia? So when we test Gary's water, we test for everything, which is pH, ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. And our tank is cycled, so we never had any trouble with ammonia.
Well, before we were cycling, sure.
Before.
But after, no.
No, we never had it.
It's the whole point.
Yeah, that's why you cycle your tank. So it grows the beneficial bacteria that takes down the ammonia. But yeah, we do water test. We use API freshwater master test kit. It's really accurate, so I always advise anyone to get the same kit test. Oh, it's taller, but okay, so it's taller. Gary is Like the height is I think 35, so it's not really tall, but it's enough for Gary because he's mostly walking down. So we didn't really wanted to like we didn't really wanted a tall thing. We wanted more floor space for Gary so he can just walk everywhere he wants. Is Gary intolerant of anything? I don't think so. He actually eats. Mm, he never had really problems eating anything. He never had any reactions. He ate pellets, bloodworms, salmon, shrimp, rapashi grape pie, worms, but he never really had any reactions to them. So I think Gary is good. Oh, thank you for coming today, Ace. Am I late? We are 1 hour in the live now. You're kind of late. Oh, Moxie's a float axolotl. She prefers to float around rather than walk. Gary is the contrary. He likes to walk.
Well,
Rather
it's more like
than
when it gets into the early hours of the morning, he like runs.
yeah, you're right. How do you keep water cool enough for Gary? So the secret is a water chiller. This is a big secret. No, it's not. It's just cost a lot. But it will save you from all the stress of constantly having to monitor your water temperature. It's a life changer. Not having to worry about the temperature. Ice Cube, but it doesn't work in Australia. Yeah, I think if you live in a country like a really hot country like Australia, you really need a water chiller. You can't like pass it because it's gonna be a big problem. Having your water always at high temperature is gonna stress your axolotl so much. What kind of axolotl is Gary? So Gary is Gary, you're moving too fast. Gary is a bluegill cystic axolotl. So you can see that on his gill he have blue parts, so that's why we call him bluegills, because some leucistic have nothing, it's only pink. So they are only leucistic, and Gary is a bluegill leucistic axolotl. Oh, visor! Oh no, you forgot! How's the bioload in terms of the nitrogen cycle with an axolotl? So you always have to go through the whole process of the nitrogen cycle. You have to grow the beneficial bacteria for your tank to be fully cycled. So when you add up to 4 ppm of ammonia 24 hours later, it's completely down to zero. So this is what we did with our tanks. We never had any problem with ammonia. We still test from time to time to see if everything is okay, and we never ever had any ammonia spike or anything like that for the past year. So always cycle your tank. Yeah, the albino one have pink eyes. It's like Gary but with pink eyes. And the melanoids, yes. Does Gary have a friend? So Gary have a friend named Gary the Snail just here. It's Gary's friend since he was a baby. Sometimes they argue and Gary would just knock Gary the Snail. This happened once and I spotted it and I was like, why did you do that, Gary? He just went just next to Gary the Snail and
Sideswiped him.
butt-headed.
Yeah, sideswiped him with his head, like knocked him over.
Poor Gary the Snail. I don't know what Gary the Snail did this time. I don't know. Gary got really offended and just knocked Gary the Snail down. Does Gary play well with other teammates if he had any? So Gary never had any brothers in the tank. It's just Gary being alone in here, so I don't know how he would do. I am not sure. But Gary is really social, so I don't think there would be any problem. I hope not. But I don't really know, as Gary is a spoiled single children. I don't know. Will you be okay with another axolotl, Gary? Would you like to have a brother, Gary? Yeah. Flick 1 if you want a brother, and flick twice if you don't want any. I'm just waiting for an answer. How many times is he gonna flick? And he's not flicking, he's thinking. Do you want a brother, Gary, or not? He's not gonna flick. Gary, why are you doing that to me? He's not flicking, he's still thinking. He's thinking really hard. One flick, Gary, if you want a brother, and two flick if you don't want. He's thinking really hard. Gary, are you still thinking that hard? So Gary only have live plants in his tank. Only real plants. And he is still not gonna flick. So I don't know. Don't know if Gary wants a brother or not. He's not gonna flick at all. Okay, Gary. We'll ask you next time. I used to have a blood parrot that would greet me when I got home from work. Does Gary show any kind of emotion towards you? Yes, Gary does. Like when I come in the room and he's like in his tank and we come closer, I always talk to him and he just come really close to the glass. Like if he wants to like interact with me, he always do that. Gary. Up. What would you feed Gary daily? So we don't really feed Gary daily. We feed him once every 2 to 3 days. It depends on Gary's appetite. But yeah, it's once every 2 to 3 days, and it's around 8 pellets. You need to go to school. Go to school then. Don't stay here for Gary. You can't miss school. Does Gary move rocks around? He doesn't move the rocks around, but he likes to dig a lot in the sand. He loves to dig. Like, I think he would be really sad if we were to remove. Gary, why are you doing that to me? If we were to remove the sand, I think Gary would be really upset. If you put your hands in the tank, will he swim to your hands? So he was doing that before when he was younger, and now he cannot fit in my hand anymore. He's way too big. So he can't really swim, but he would like just put a hand, but not he can't fully fit in my hand. He's way too big now. He cannot. Are you doing another stream next Sunday? Yes, we do every Sunday. If Gary could speak, what kind of accent do you think he would have? I think as Gary is born here in the UK, he would have a British accent. He wouldn't have mine. I don't think so. I don't know actually, because I'm the only one speaking to Gary. Gary's dad doesn't really speak to Gary, so he wouldn't maybe take after him. So maybe he would have learned a broken English because I have an accent. I don't know. Oh, thank you for joining us. I don't know my name is. Does Gary like cheese? I don't think Gary would like cheese, even though I'm French. What is Gary's favorite video game? I don't know. But I think it's EDF, isn't it? It would be EDF. Gary's favorite video game. Yeah, it would be EDF. It's Earth Defense Force. It's like giant insects invading Earth, and you have to like exterminate them. And he was really into it for some reason. He was always watching us playing that. I wonder how Gary would react if I brought Moxie over. I think he would be curious, because I don't think Gary saw any other axolotls, so I think he would be really curious. Has Gary ever attempted to rob someone? I don't think so. What would you think Gary's favorite color is? I think it would be pink, because Gary is all pink. Gary has a criminal record, I'm sure, for being too cute. You are too cute, Gary. Does Gary wear a suit for business meeting? He wear a tie. Gary, what do you like to do every day? Searching for food, chilling, going on plants, uprooting every plant mommy put in the tank, and digging. That's all Gary likes. And he likes to watch his dad play video games too. Does Gary like people? Is he friendly? Yes, Gary is really friendly and social. He is. Has Gary ever been injured and regenerated? Yes. So Gary lost a finger once and he just regrew his finger as if it was nothing. Oh, thank you, Kat and Ren, for showing up today. We'll see you next time. What do you do with Gary every day? And can you hold him, or is he like a fish? So Gary is like a fish, so you can't hold him, but you can still interact with him. Like every day I would just go to his tank and just talk to him, and he will always listen and look at me. So there is way to interact with them. It's not just like fish when they don't really do much. Gary is a bit more how can I say that? He would interact more, like he would search for you, and he would stare at you if you're like somewhere in the room and he wants to look at you, he will find you. There were some times when I was in the living room and he would just stare at me, like stare for hours when I was working. So he knows where his mom and dad are. Can axolotls be petted? So not much. Like it's why I only do the boop for Yeri. It's just slightly booping his nose. He likes that, but you can't really stroke him. Oh, thank you, Caleb Crossland, for joining us today. Does Gary make noise? So he kind of make noise. Like we have a video about it on our channel. You should watch it. It's a really cute noise, but it's been some time since he last did it. Gary, are you in any Axolotl movies? I don't think so. I don't think there is movies about axolotls. Not yet. Can Gary breathe outside of water? No, he cannot. He can just gloop air, but that's it. He can't really breathe in the air. How much are axolotls? So axolotls like Gary doesn't really cost much. Gary was only 14 pounds. It's a really common morph, if I would say so. Gary. Gary is really cute. Even though he have a lot of kind of default, but he's still cute. Not that there's anything wrong with dumplings. What did you say? Does the little head frills that axolotls have do anything? And also, why do his side have texture of a dumpling? So the frills that you see, it's his gill, so it's how he breathes. The little fluff you see, it's where he exchanged the oxygen. And why is his side looks like a dumpling? I don't really have the answer to that. But it kind of does look like a dumpling now that you said it. Oh, I always say that Gary is a water dragon. Where did you get Gary from? So we got Gary from a pet shop because here axolotls are legal, so we can have them in any pet shops. Does Gary want Godzilla or Kong to win? I think he's more on the Godzilla side. Do they need salt water or fresh water? Gary needs fresh water. Where are you going, Gary? Where are you going? Gary is just chilling right now. Are you chilling, Gary? Chilling. Yes. Do you like the bubbles? He's on the bubbles. Oh yeah. Oh, he liked the bubbles. Oh, the bubbles. Is Gary allowed to be with other species like turtles? So no, Gary is species only. So you can only have other axolotls with Gary. You can't put anything other than axolotls together. Like no fish, no turtles, no snails, nothing. Only axolotls. Did you really just drop your apple? I wish I had a Gary. Oh. Does Gary like Gundam? I don't know because we never really watch any Gundam anime, so I don't know if he likes it or not. Hello, Gary. Is Gary male or female? Gary is a male. Oh, thank you, Cat Show, for showing up today. Oh, does Gary like Beastars? I never saw it, so I don't know. Gary is only aquatic. He wouldn't go on land. Oh, you're also moving to your new big thing. It's a good thing. So, Julie, if you want axolotls, you actually need to do a lot of research. Gary, stop acting like you're hungry. So, axolotls require a lot of specific care. So, you really have to do some more research if you want axolotls in the future. We have a care guide in our website, so you should look into that if you want to have more axolotls in the future.
What's it for?
Hmm?
Jeans.
Oh, I think it's in my hoodie pocket. Does Gary float himself. So sometimes he floats, but it's small when he's chilling. He would like gloop some air and keep the air in his lungs, so he would float. And then he would just chill at the surface like that, floating. And when he's done and he wants to go down, he just burp the bubble, and then he just goes down. Can axolotl have cheese? No, they can't. They are only carnivore. Wait, if you move, how do you take your axolotl with you? Like if I move out, I know that you can fly with fish, so axolotls are the same as fish. So if I had to change country, like living in another country, I would just have to fly with Gary, or I could just take Gary in a tug with me and just go by car, and that's it. But you have to, if you want to travel with your axolotl, because I know that sometimes people just take their axolotls on holidays because they are really hard to take care of, and you can't really leave your axolotl for a week or two. It's not something you can do. So I know that a lot of people, when they go on holiday, they take their axolotl, so you just have to take your axolotl with you and do water changes every day, and that's it. But for the transport, you have to put them in the, I think it's ice thing that keeps everything cold with ice pack. And axolotls don't really like when it moves, so they are most likely going to be stressed, so you have to cover them so it's all dark and they don't stress that much. Gary likes video games? Yes, of course Gary does. Does Gary like other axolotls? I think Gary would really love to have like brothers with him in the tank. Is Gary excited to be in Minecraft? I think he is. I wonder how many axolotl in Minecraft are gonna be named Gary. I wish they could do a stat. I don't know. What did you dress up like in Halloween? I don't remember what I did for Halloween this year. I think it was Vampire Gary. I think it was... Yeah, I think Gary was a vampire for this Halloween. Does Gary have bath? What do you mean? Gary is always in water. Is Gary a freckled Lucy? No, he doesn't really have freckles. What did you order?
Burger.
Oh, okay.
Fries.
Mhm.
Fries.
Mhm. And Gary's dad just ordered takeaway. And ice cream. Okay.
Because I am hungry.
You are hungry, so you want ice cream and burgers and fries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone will agree. It's gonna make some noise. I'm putting this in the freezer.
Oh. Maybe just wait. So, oh, from someone from Indonesia. Can you have a head pad for me? Can he have a head pad for me? So next time we feed Gary, we're gonna do a head pad for you.
Yeah, it seems to always be the day the day to feed him always seems to land on the day before we do the live.
I think we have to be careful and do a feeding next Sunday.
I think I've got a plan. I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay. So next Sunday live, we're gonna try to make it as a feeding day, so you can actually see Gary having a book and having food.
It's not gonna be. We're gonna try to. It is gonna be.
Okay, so next Sunday live is gonna be feeding and boop live.
Yes.
So you can all enjoy Gary having some num num and stop trying to act like he's so hungry and he's actually gonna get food. Can I digitally draw you? Is that okay? Yes, it is. Like we have in our Discord, we have a fan art section.
And many talented artists.
Yes, we have a lot of fan art. So if you want to draw Gary, there is absolutely no problem, and you are more than welcome to join our Discord server.
We are more than welcome to do it.
And the Discord server's link is in the about section in our channel. So just feel free to join and see every other artwork, fan art we already had about Gary, and you can add yours. How will I send it to you guys? So if you join the you don't have Discord. Oh. So
Email.
yeah, you can. Did I put the email? I think there is the email in our about section, so you can always email your art to us. Yeah, Gary is posing. Okay, he went out of the pose now. Okay, so it's been 1 hour and 32 minutes, so I think it is time to end the live.
Decent amount of time.
Yes, already. It's already like we always do 1 hour and a half live.
He's looking at me.
No, you're looking at your dad, Gary. You're looking at your dad. Oh.
It looks really cinematic with the light under his head. It looks like a movie poster.
Gary likes to pose. So our Gmail is garyaxolotl@gmail.com. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Yes. So on Sunday, either me or Gary's mum is gonna boop the child. Boop the child. Oh.
What is it? Yeah. So it is time to end this live. We will see you next Sunday for a feeding and booping session. I hope you enjoyed this live and being with us.
I did.
Okay. Say bye, Gary.
Bye, Gary.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining today. And until next Sunday, stay cute. Bye bye.